think the Keith Andrew Network is great. It just gives a platform and a voice to so many people, and you should watch it.
Welcome to 540. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is the beautiful and talented Becky Lee. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Oh, thank you. It's Becky Yee. Y with a Y.
No disrespect.
It's okay.
I have it on my phone, Texas Speech, so I was pronouncing it Becky Lee.
Yeah, it's with a Y.
No one's perfect, not even Texas Speech.
Oh, good. No worries.
Now, for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's prove to them and still amount to something. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, half hour, 33 minutes of your time. Say anything you want, talk about whatever you want. Freedom of self-expression, freedom of speech. And with that being said, what can you tell us about yourself?
I'm a photographer, and I actually built a small studio here in New York City. This is my studio. You can kind of see it there. There's a psych wall. It's a small studio. But I really love it, and I really love photographing people. I've always wanted to be a photographer, and now I make a living taking photos of people. So.
Well, with that being said, I would love to work with you if that's a possibility. I'm trying to get myself out there more, I do my own personal headshots, as you can see on the KeithAndrewNetwork.com. But, it's kind of like, one of those things like, anyone can do a selfie, but I want actually a professional headshot. So with that being said, who influenced you to become a photographer, and how much do you charge?
The person that influenced me to be a photographer, there's many influences, but probably my biggest influence was, not Sally Mann, but Sally Mann. Oh, I can't even think of her name right now. I can't believe it. She's like a super famous. She's like my idol. Anyway, she was a photographer in the 70s, and she really, Diane Arbus. Of course. So Diane Arbus really influenced me because she really did kind of show a different side to society. She sort of found the humanness in what people called the freaks, and she sort of found the freakiness with kind of mainstream. And I remember when I saw that book, like her retrospective, she had already committed suicide. But it was so strong. So it's a black and white picture of the twins, and she shot with Hasselblad. And I just absolutely, those photos blew my mind. I was never seen anything like that. It just was so powerful and strong, the images. And, they really stand the test of time. They've been, awarded and, collected around the world. And I just loved what she did. She was able to kind of like capture a deep, hidden soul to people that we normally wouldn't see with our naked eyes. She was able to kind of frame it and show us what she saw in everyone. And so, like, with my photography, I really like to bring out what I call your you-ness, YOU-NESS, like what makes you you. So, like, I like to shoot lots of different things, but the one thing that I like to do most is to take really soulful photos of people that really show their kind of unique character and maybe a part of their character that you might not necessarily know when you first meet someone, but it's more of like an intimate part to them. And I call that, and I even have a new project that I'm going to be working on called the Eunice Project, where I kind of give everyone the chance to show me what makes them them.
No, absolutely. Like I said, I would love to be part of it. And if you ever need someone to promote it or play commercials, I can do that for you. If you help me, I help you. So that quick, go.
Oh, and then what you need is publicity photos to help promote yourself as a brand. So that's usually what they call an electronic press kit or an EPK. And that's usually the promotional photos that you send to other media to get coverage or to be listed as an expert or a speaker or something like that. And I love taking EPK photos because you need that one iconic photo of yourself that sort of like tells the whole story of like who you are, what you do, and what's your vibe and energy like in a second. So I love to do those EPK photos. My rates vary, but the starting packages are like $750 and goes up from there.
So it's $750 as in $750 or $750?
$750 is just the start for like what I charge for like headshots and like a 1 hour shoot, and that includes 2 photos, retouched with 1 round of edits, and then if you want to buy additional images from the shoot, you're welcome to do that too.
Do you do a discount?
We can talk maybe, but yeah, that's my fee, and then but obviously when I do commercial work, it's actually a lot more.
No, I can imagine. Yeah. If I'm looking at your set, it looks like you're doing pretty good for yourself.
Yeah, doing, we're always a work in progress. So we're always trying to improve and, get better at what we do. And, maybe I'll start doing like Eunice packages, or like I just did some photo shoots at this thing. I went to the Wild Woman Fest, which is an amazing gathering of, couple hundred women on top of a mountain in the Berkshires, and I did a few goddess portraits, and those goddess portraits, every woman kind of like channeled their inner goddess, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the fact that every one woman brought something that I wasn't expected, but what I do is if they give me their vision, I do this. I feel like I breathe life into it. So it's like, you give me a vision, I can make it into a tangible reality in the form of a photograph. And so, like one woman, they were like frolicking through the forest, being like a little forest goddess nymph. And then there were 5 women from Ohio, and they were like dancing around the sanctuary, and they were so beautiful. It actually like brought tears to my eyes because each individual person is just so beautiful in their own way. And then one woman, she actually says like, I almost canceled this shoot. And she said that she was channeling a very dark energy. And like, I'd never even thought to do like kind of like a goddess that is more on the darker energy, and the photos came out just stunning and beautiful. And I just love the fact that people give me their vision. I'm able to like capture their Eunice and like share it with the world.
No, I'm just. Can you give us like an example? Like use me for an example. Say I'm a guy with a learning disability but who wants to get himself out there. What would you think? What is your magic touch for something like that?
I'd have to talk to you a little bit more and hear a bit more about your brand and what your brand message is. And then once, we'd have like how people work with me. And even if they're like a clothing brand, I shoot a lot of like lingerie brands, like lookbooks and campaigns and things like that. They kind of come to me and say, hey, I want to relaunch my website and try to become an expert speaker. My goal is to be do a TEDx talk, right? I was like, okay, so what's your vibe? What's your brand? What's your brand message? And then we'll take all those elements. And then once we have those elements, we look at everything in the photo. We look at your clothes, the background, the lighting, like the composition, like props, everything is going to be in line with your brand. So this way, we make decisions like, okay, does that say, striving and, going for it? Like, no, it doesn't. All right, let's take it out. Like, all those ducks have to be aligned to make the strongest photo. And then the person has to bring out their own personal character.
Actually, it's funny you said... No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But that's what you have to do. Like everything, your clothes, which glasses you're wearing, how you do your hair, your accessories, like everything has got meaning and make it intentional. And that's how you get like a well-produced shoot. It can look whimsical, but like no, we planned everything. We wanted it to be whimsical. We wanted it to look like it was spontaneous, but it wasn't spontaneous. We made them do it like 1,000 times, like something like that. So I think that's the difference between, a photographer like me and someone that you pay, $100 off of Craigslist. There's nothing wrong with that photographer that you pay $100 off Craigslist. They could do a great job, and they might be able to get you the photo that you want. Whereas you hire a professional like me, I know I can get you the photo that you want. I'm a professional. I know I can see the end. I work with the end in mind. Whereas that person goes, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to keep shooting, and maybe by chance we can get something. It's not by chance that I get these photos. I get these photos again and again and again because I took all the right steps to kind of craft it, to put all the pieces together, to make sure that it's strong and we're able to get the best promotional image that will get you more media coverage, that will get you that speaking gig, that will get that client to hire you, or get the sponsorship that you want for your TV show, or attract the producer that is going to put you on television. So that's what I feel like I do.
No, absolutely. Now the next question I was going to ask you is, who influenced you to start your career? Well, we actually hinted towards it. Don't mind me, I just have a lot on my mind. I've been working as a way, and I've been really getting rusty at this. And so this is what I want to do for the rest of I can speak. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life until I die. I'm not saying that to be cute. I'm not saying that to be funny. That's how passionate I am for this. And I'm just I'm really been out of touch with my talk show and trying to get into the right framing and the right set of mind. But I would love to work with you, but we can talk about that later. Sorry I keep bringing that up, but I'm just saying, when I see an opportunity, I take it. No matter who I'm with or who's around, if I see it, I take it. So with that being said, when you took the opportunity to create your own company, did you ever think it's never going to work out, or did you just say trial by fire?
Everyone has their days where they think they're a complete failure and everything that they're doing is meaningless, and, that you have like a little pity party on yourself. Every entrepreneur has been there. I am definitely, had those days where you just feel like giving up and that you just feel like nothing's going to work out. And I realized once you embrace that fear and recognize it, it's never as scary as it seems. If one client says no to my pitch, I was like, well, I'll just pitch another client. If, you just keep putting yourself out there and keep dreaming, because the more you dream, the more you're able to pull what you need towards you. And, if anything, that being an entrepreneur has taught me, I believe in miracles. Do you know what I mean? I almost expect miracles to happen. I was like, it would be a miracle if this happened, and that's what I would really like. And believe it or not, it magically appears. And the thing is just to have faith, believe in yourself, and keep working hard to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish.
No, I agree. The next question I was going to ask you is social media. Can social media make you or break you in everything you accomplish in your career? Do you think that impacts your type of work?
I think that's a really good question. I don't think that I'm trying to improve my social media game. I don't know if it necessarily is bringing me exactly the clients that I want, but it keeps me on my client's radar. and it keeps them updated and fresh about what I'm doing. And it's just fun. It's fun to connect with people. I get so inspired looking at other people's Instagram feeds. And I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. So I think that social media is very, very important. I don't think it's the end or be all, because the most important thing that has helped my career is face-to-face, one-on-one interaction. When I meet someone, then they remember me and we keep in touch over social media. But you need that first time face-to-face interaction to kind of like solidify the connection. And then we're all busy, as you know, we're traveling around the world and doing all these photo shoots, and how we keep up is social media. So I think social media for me is very important to keep connected to all the people that I've worked with in the past, I hope to work with in the future, and of course, friends and family.
No, absolutely. Now, with that being said, while on the subject, how would you describe getting yourself out on the media? Say, for an example, someone who... Okay, use me for an example. Well, it is my show, after all. Use me for an example of, as in, pat myself on the back, big whoop. I've been interviewed on radio, I've been interviewed via Skype video. Like I said, we will set up that date where we can actually sit down and talk. But what is the key words to get someone to say, I want to interview you? And what I mean by that, for me, is I've been turned down about 3-4 times, and they're like, oh, you're, to give me an example, this woman came in my store yesterday, and I found out she was a radio DJ. It's like, oh, my heart skipped a couple beats, and like, oh, I would love to be interviewed by you. Well, what do you do? And I said, well, this is my talk show, and as soon as I said the word, I want your opinion, because I'm going to throw this back at you in 1 second. When I mentioned the word learning disabilities or disabilities, why is that just a big turnoff for people out there? Because as soon as they mention disabilities, those 3 people that is mentioned saying, yeah, you don't fit my show, we can't interview somebody like you. So with passing that to you, have you ever worked with people with learning disabilities, and does that word turn you off?
No, I think I actually have a learning disability too. I have actually ADHD, and it's very hard for me to kind of focus. I know it's funny, a photographer that can't focus. But I do have a bit of a learning disability. I'm a little slow to connect the dots and hold the thought in my head. It like I have it and it like slips away. So as an entrepreneur, and I realized that just having someone sitting next to me will help me to complete my job. So I don't have any stigma against anything with any disability. And in fact, my father is a paraplegic, and he's paralyzed from his chest down. So like, I don't, there's no stigma. It's just, I think the way you're approaching the pitch, I think you also have to, the way you're reacting is like, people have a stigma when I say disability. I think that's you too. It's you projecting your insecurity onto them. Like, that's the reason why they rejected you. But I think that's something that you need to work on, where it's not even a blip in my mind. This is who I am, this is what I do, and this is what I can do for your show. Right. So instead of saying in your pitch, and this is more for business, it's not anything to do with what I do as a photographer, but just in general, my belief is that you have to tell them, you have to offer them something that you want. You're looking at it like, I want to be interviewed on your show, right? Yeah. That's a good pitch. The pitch is, hey, like, the first thing you shouldn't ask them first off. First, did you do any research about what our show is about? Do you see what I mean? Like, say she interviews Latin jazz musicians. Why would she have you on her show? It's not a right fit.
Right.
Like, you shouldn't even bother pitching her because it's not a good fit. So if I were in your situation and this person says, I'm a radio DJ, I was like, wow, what's the name of your show? Tell me more about it. Who do you interview? What types of people do you interview? You know? And then once you get those answers, you can craft your pitch to being the perfect person that will fit those things. Like, I would have said, not say like, I've got a learning disability, else she rejected me right off. No, maybe she rejected you because she only interviews punk rock musicians. You don't know, right? Did you do research? Did you even think?
No, I have.
Did you research her show?
Oh, when I first met her, no.
See?
But she told me that she interviews entertainers in the entertainment world, and if you kind of think about it, this is kind of entertainment that we're doing.
It can be entertainment, but maybe she only does movie stars and TV stars.
It's true.
Maybe she doesn't do. Maybe she wouldn't even interview Oprah because Oprah's a talk show host. Or do you know what I mean? I mean, Oprah's way more than that. But do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So you have to do your research too when you pitch. Don't think that people are rejecting you right out because you have the word disability in your pitch. I think first thing you have to change your mind that you think and already projecting out there, you're going to reject me because of this. No, like let that go. You know, that's not a thought pattern or a feeling that's going to serve you. I think it would be best to, you know, think of it this way, like, what can you do for that talk show? If she goes, I'm an entertainer, if someone says, like, I'm an entertainment, I interview entertainers, and it's like, wow, that's really amazing. Can I have your card? I would love to pitch you some ideas. You know, I don't know if I'd be the best fit for you, but I believe that everyone can be an entertainer, even someone like me. You know, I had a lot of difficulties, you know, with the way I was, you know, born with a learning disability, but I've overcome that. And I have my own YouTube channel with umpteen million subscribers. And I would love to talk to you more, to talk about the possibilities if there's an opportunity for, you know, me to be interviewed for you. I don't know if it's a good fit. Like, you don't want to put, like, interview me. Like, it makes people feel like this. It makes them feel offensive. So how you can, you know, warm them up to show you what you can do. It's like, you know, I'm a very personal person, and I really want to encourage and inspire people, even if they have any sort of disability, to really go for it and really put themselves out there in the media, and that we need to be represented more in the media so that people will understand this more. Like, doesn't that sound better than, hey, I've got a learning disability, you should interview me?
Well, you don't come at it like you're a caveman, but but I mean, like, I give you an example, and I completely understand where you're coming from, but it's kind of like trying to find the words for it. There's a certain way you pitch it. You just don't, like I said, you don't come out like a caveman. It's like, me have a talk show, me want to be interviewed. But you don't do that. It's like you have to, like I said, make sure it's the right fit. But how is that any different from saying they're a bunch of writers, and say for, I don't know, the New York Times or the Times Herald Record, you know, how do you approach something like that? Or do you think getting yourself in the newspaper is a bigger step than getting yourself out on the air?
I mean, with the way media works today, you just have to find your tribe, find your audience. So if all you want is fame and glory, like, you think you're going to make it if you're in the New York Times, no, you're still going to have to work hard, you know? In terms of, like, getting media coverage, you know, you have to think, why do you want this media coverage? Is it just to stroke your ego? Or do you truly feel that you can help people? And maybe that's what you should try to focus on in your pitch. Like, look, I have inspired this many thousands of people to follow their dreams. I had this person send this letter, this testimonial, like, get a good quote from someone. Like, maybe, You should start interviewing people that have had disabilities and have overcome their whatever circumstances they had and done something incredible and awesome. You know, you could talk about that maybe you could do a whole show and a whole podcast and just focus on those people. It's like, all right, I'm going to find the people that had the one guy that was born with no arms and no legs, right? And he just became an inspirational speaker. He did TED Talks and he got married and he just has like the most wonderful life. Or, you know, like interview people like that and share their stories, and then that'll inspire everyone to do what you said, even with the learning disability, that you can overcome anything and become a television talk show host or become a YouTube sensation. You know, like, I think that would be, once you can, you know, get a little street cred, all right, you're saying that you're overcome your disabilities and you've done these amazing things. Well, what impact has it had?
No, I agree.
And then, you know, say, well, this is the impact that I've had. You know, I give a platform to people that have basically kicked butt despite any disabilities that they have. I mean, I'm sure there's like zillions of amazing stories. I mean, even my father. My father is a paraplegic. He was in a car accident and broke his neck when he was 32 years old. And he raised me and my sister, two very not well-adjusted girls, as a single parent. And to me, that's like a heroic feat. You know, he was on permanent disability, so we didn't have a lot of money. But our family really helped and supported us and, you know, really did what they could for us. And, but, you know, my father was the one that was holding it together. And to me, he's a hero, you know. And find those stories, you know. So here's a man, paraplegic, raising his two teenage daughters, right? That's a beautiful story. Like, if you share those stories, they're like stories of like human, the survival of the human spirit, and how amazing everyone is. You know, how amazing you are, how amazing, you know, this other person is.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. Almost the last 5 minutes left of the show. I'm going to pass it over to you.
It's Vanessa Lina. I'm Adrian Lalo. This is Cynthia Batts today. I'm Sonia Fisher. This is Shane Smith. My name is Alexandra Bowie. My name is Amelia Clover. Hi, I'm Amy Linden.
Hi, I'm Anita Nicole Brown.
It's Meg Green.
Hi, my name is Asata Caldwell. Hi, everybody. I'm Brooke Francie.
Hi, I'm Bryn Berg.
Hi, I'm Casey Dunn.
Hi, it's Cassandra Kavinsky.
Hi, I'm Christina Briza.
I'm Cindy Hogan. I'm Courtney Sinello.
Hi, I'm Daisy.
My name is Deborah Jane East.
Hi, my name is Dinah Marcia.
Everyone, I'm Victoria London.
Hi, I'm Heather Krona.
Hi, I'm Heather Callahan Stevens.
Hi, I'm J. Nicole Ralph.
My name is Jamie Petrell. My name is Turi. My name is Julia Brankovich.
Kathleen Wills.
Kimberly Amato.
Hi, my name is Laura Putnam.
Hi, I'm Laura Chapanis.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Damas.
This is Michelle Mupo, a.k.a. Fuchsia. I'm Rachel Olivera.
Hi, my name is Sarah Joy Mount.
Hi, I'm Susan Brender.
Hi, everyone. This is Venus Leone.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Dana.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Herrera, and I was just on the Keith Andrew Network. It was tons of fun. We used up all our time and then some. I really recommend this show, and try to be a guest on Keith's show. It was super fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Keith Andrew Network. I am your host, Keith Andrew, and you're watching episode 540. That's right, 540, on the way to 600. Hoping to get my brand new set. May change up the new design, you know, we'll see what happens here and there. But my last question for you, and I'll pass the show over to you. What was the biggest hurdle that you accomplished in your life? You mentioned that you started from the very bottom, from nothing. Then you became one of the best photographers in New York. And then you traveled the world. What was one of the biggest hurdles that was thrown in your way, and how can you tell our viewers how to overcome it? If you can overcome it, they can overcome it.
I mean, for me, probably this one shoot that I had, it was like my first kind of big photo shoot as a photographer. I had been working as a photo assistant for about 3 years, and then I was ready to kind of go out on my own. And I literally had a red Porsche, Christian Dior clothing, a makeup artist that like does makeup for like Vogue, and so I was very excited to do this shoot, but I was so nervous and I didn't have enough experience for it, and I was messing up a lot. So like we had a generator to work the wind machine, and I forgot to put gas in it. I'm like, oh my God, there's no gas. Can someone go out and fill up the generator with gas? You know, something like that. Like the stand was up and we had a light on it, and I forgot to put a sandbag on the light, and then the wind gust and it like knocked the light down and broke the light. So I was like, oh my God, I have a broken light now. So I had 2 lights now. I have 1 light to work with when I'm on location. Then like the model that I requested was like a Brazilian bombshell. She was like a big model. She was like 5'11". She was very, very like 90s sexy, kind of like buxom looking, big boned, like, big, gorgeous, glamorous hair.
A big house.
Right? But she caught a cold on the shoot the day before, and she couldn't show up my shoot because it was also location. So instead of me getting this like 5'11" glamazon, I got like a wafy 5'7" Romanian blonde girl with blue eyes. Meanwhile, I was hoping for this like dark-haired, like, Latin goddess, and I was like, she's so much smaller, because with the car, when you photograph a car, obviously people fit into the car. So getting the proportions right, it would have been easier if I had a bigger model. So I was like, I was freaking out. I was like shaking and like, oh my God, everything's going wrong. Like my life is over. I'm never going to become a photographer. And then the person that had driven the Porsche to the photo shoot, because you have to have like insurance reasons, no one can touch the car, but like so someone has to be there to deliver the car and then move the car around and stuff like that. And so that person, he basically like pulled me aside, and I was like, I was basically having like an absolute freak out session, because I didn't think I can handle it. If I couldn't handle this shoot, how can I handle a career as a photographer? And he held my hands. He's like, Becky, and I was like, I was like sniveling. I was like, like tears ready to like burst from my eyes, because I thought that I messed up on 1,000 different levels, all amateur rookie mistakes. And he's like, Becky, you've got a beautiful model wearing Christian Dior clothing in a Porsche. Her hair and makeup is done by someone that, does photo shoots for Vogue. You cannot not take a good photo. It's fine. You're going to take great photos. Just take a deep breath, calm down, and focus. And, I really like that person pulling me aside and talking to me, like, saved my life. And I really really relaxed. Went out there, kicked butt, got all the photos. Everyone loved them. They were beautiful, stunning, gorgeous. And it wasn't exactly what I wanted. But we wound up using the interior of the car, of the Porsche, and then we actually put a small Porsche in our hand. Like she's like dreaming of it. And the photos came out so beautiful. And the whole team was super, super happy with the photos, and it was all fine. But it was like my first photo shoot where I was a photographer with like a whole team. Hair, makeup, stylists, assistants, cars, location, wind machines, location lighting, everything. So that was like probably the biggest hurdle. And then after that, I was fine. And then I also thought, whenever I'm on a photo shoot, things are going to happen. I just have to roll with it. do everything I can to prevent accidents and things from happening. But when it happens, to remain calm and do what you need to do to come up with solutions instead of crying over the broken light, instead of crying over not having gas in the generator for the wind machine. I said, okay, this is what we need to do now. And I think I'm very good at that now. And I've been working ever since.
No, I agree. You can't walk around and it was a pity party. And I was just thinking, you have this great set behind you, and I have a set working in progress, and you were just talking about the fan light, the light breaking, and it's like, I don't want all that. And this is what I mean by I don't want all that. A true professional, doesn't matter where you are, if you have a camera or a phone, as long as it looks professional, number one, you and the guests are having great chemistry, number two, and you guys are enjoying yourselves, you can put on a great show. You can always have a great show if, I don't know, for an example, you're in the middle of nowhere, or you're in the back seat of a car, or you're just at a restaurant, you decide, hey, let's do the interview here because it's a great lighting. If you can make any situation, any subject or scenario into a perfect scenario and make the best out of a worst case scenario, that shows you the heart and passion of that person.
Sure. Turn lemon into lemonades. Absolutely.
No, absolutely. Now, I do have...
like sometimes someone will be like, I was my first international photo shoot. We were in Barcelona, and there's so many gorgeous locations in Barcelona, and we were being sponsored by the record label for this band. They're called Sketch Show. They're from this, the founders of electronic music, Yellow Magic Orchestra. And I was like, oh my God, we're in Barcelona. We're going to do a cover photo shoot with these guys. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. Where are we shooting on location? And they're like, Becky, you have 15 minutes in the hotel. I'm like, what? I was like, we've got all these amazing locations, like all over Barcelona. We can have like the La Sagrada Familia. We could do La Pedera, to the roof of the apartment building. It's like there's so many cool things that are so quintessentially Barcelona. Like, nope, you get 15 minutes in the hotel. And I was like, what? And so I scouted. The hotel was not like a super fancy hotel we were staying at.
Right.
Like it was okay, but it wasn't like some gorgeous 5-star Sukhothai hotel in Bangkok or something. And so I was like, okay. And I looked and I scouted. And I found one place that I thought was so interesting, and it was the woman's bathroom. Yeah. I made these two men go into the woman's bathroom because they had these doors, and I just liked the way the doors, when they opened up, kind of made like this like weird like V-shaped, and it had like lights behind it or whatever. So I basically brought them into the women's bathroom, public bathroom at the hotel, and that's where we shot the cover. I'm not joking. This is 1,000% true. I can show you the photo. And it was a band. It's called Sketch Show. They're amazing. They're so talented. Just another level of electronic music. Like, great. Anyway, so I turned that shoot, that could be a boring shoot, at a hotel. What am I going to do? Put them against a blank wall? But, just having that V-shaped door made it a little bit more dynamic. And then I can also pose them around that with their backs to each other or facing, or like it gave me opportunities to do some very interesting compositions with.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned something about, we're off the air in a couple of seconds, but you mentioned something to me off the air, but I do want to mention, for me, how can I get something back? And I was thinking, you're probably going to say no about this, but how about creating an after-school program for people, not just with disabilities, but with people with disabilities who have a passion for acting, who have a passion for the arts, and they can use that for vocational training, or they could use that for extra credit for going to schools. So you can say, yes, you have a gift, well, why not turn it into something? And then you can make an example in that person's life.
Sure. I mean, why don't you do this? I mean, why don't you say that the teachers are people with learning disabilities or disability, and they're going to come in here and they're going to teach you something amazing.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
works too.
it has to be a little more specific. I believe that either you're teaching a class for all kids that have learning disabilities, or it could be you're just going to teach a kids class or any class, a nighttime class, and people that are going to teach you something, there's going to be someone that has a learning disability. So if, I don't know, someone that has no arms and he knows how to cook with his feet, he's going to come in here and teach you how to cook omelets. And if he can do it with no arms and feet, so can you. Do you know what I mean? Like things like that. Like make it fun. Like I said, yeah, I want to learn how to cook a frittata or whatever. So you're learning how to make a frittata, but just by chance, it's someone that also has some type of a disability, and they're teaching that class to you.
No, absolutely. It doesn't, like you said, it doesn't matter what hurdles get thrown in your way. All that matters is getting over that hurdle.
Sure.
But with that being said, I do have a couple of questions for you off the air. And I am really rusty at doing my interviews. Like I said, I've been working on a lot of stuff. But this is my passion. I want to do this until the day I die. But I do have a couple of questions for you. But wrapping up, how can people follow you on social media? And also, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction and what made you say yes?
You can follow me on social media at Becky Yee Photo. And, any publicity is good publicity. People love to talk about themselves. Sure. I didn't care, disability, no disability. It's like, oh, you're going to give me some PR? Yeah, I'll take it.
Hey, quick call. You help me, I help you, right? That's what the entertainment world is all about. Now, I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but wrapping up. I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. And I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure talking to you.